Alright, back into customs and we're going to test drive some more of the new units. I think there are still quite a few that I have yet to purchase. I guess there were some that I used on the test server that I haven't used since the changes have gone live. I'm sure I'll get round to trying them again at some stage. But in this particular run I had 3 or 4 different units in mind. And actually another one which isn't technically new but hasn't actually been in the game all that long. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to save our level ups for turn 5 because the first unit that I'm interested in is tier 4. And one of the ways that you can give yourself a decent chance to win or draw if you're just going to try and save all your level ups for turn 5 is to take Spider. So we managed to get 3 of them here. So that's going to give us an additional level up. Bigfoot just, a solid unit overall, although it looks like we could be in danger of losing here. I think we would need a pretty good spawn from the Spider. Yeah, we don't get it. I actually don't think I had many, if any, summon pets in this tier 3. So we take the first level up and the second. We don't find the unit we want, but I am willing to take Platypus. Probably there I could have combined the Alchemedes together and just taken the Gharial for a bit more tempo, but we roll this double guinea pig and I decide to pass it up. I think we're probably going to lose again here. We've got whale plus deer. Almost an auto lose for a lot of teams if you don't have garlic. Even if you do have garlic, to be honest. But we do end up getting the Alchemedes. It gives us the same option with the turtle plus Gharial, and I don't want either of them. So we'll just wait for next turn. And then I'm keeping the pill frozen. I'm not sure what I could get from the spider that I would want to keep. Probably hatching chick was the only thing. But I generally don't like leaving spiders unpilled if I can help it. Here the ability of the fairy armadillo when it curls up actually blocked some of the mana damage there and prevented it from being knocked out. And here we go. We get the unit that I'm after, and it is the leafy sea dragon. So start of battle, give adjacent friends +1 experience, and remove this. So I was really excited when I saw this in the list of new units because it was on my request list for them to start using the remove this functionality from Moby Dick with other pets. And it's really useful because there were a couple of units in the game already in Swordfish and Panda which faint themselves at start of battle. However, those units, when they faint, they still count as being on the board, and so you couldn't spawn a unit into that space. So you couldn't play like a 5 squad with Macaque and Panda and then have the Panda vacate a space. It just doesn't work that way. But now we have the Sea Dragon. We actually have a tier 1 as well, which I think was in this pack, but I didn't use it in this run. There's another seahorse on tier 1, which works the same way. But it simply removes itself, so the space becomes available. It doesn't count as fainting, so it does mean there are some slight drawbacks. You cannot put summoning perks on it, so you couldn't put popcorn or honey or anything. The perk that is on the sea dragon just disappears when it vanishes. But we're also going to give it one of the new foods, which is churros. That's going to mean that it always goes first, even if we have other start of battle units. And that will be important later on. We don't really care about buffing the stats on the sea dragon. It would be a waste, obviously, since it's going to remove itself. But the other unit that we want to bring in, we definitely do want to buff it up. So I mentioned that there was a unit that technically isn't new, but it definitely came out this year, and that is the Amalgamation. And because I have a summon build in mind with a limited number of actual pets being spawned, Amalgamation seems like a good fit for that because it only has 2 triggers, but they can be quite impactful. You can see here we're getting a lot of attack plus a good amount of mana as well, and that can often turn the tide in certain battles. So yeah, we pass up the food there. I do find another chocolate, and I think I'm going to put it on the Amalgamation because we could end up running 2 of them separately. I actually had quite a few attempts at this build, and some of them I only had 1 amalgamation, but it makes quite a big difference when you get 2 of them. Now here, this goblin shark swallows the platypus, and then it spits it back out, so we end up getting double the summons. So that was quite kind of that opposing team to help me out that way. But now we're on turn 11, we take the level up, we don't get the other units that we're looking for. We're looking for a tier 5 and another tier 6. And here we get one of them, and it is the tapir. Now tapir might seem like it's an existing unit, but actually its ability has been completely changed. So instead of being able to feint and copy a unit, it copies at the start of battle. And you can actually see why we need the churros on the sea dragon, because buying the tapir with the amalgamations on board has resulted in it having 16 attack. So it would go first if we hadn't equipped the sea dragon with that perk. And we find the last unit in the puzzle, and that is Namazu. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Like most of these new units, it's a bit of a struggle. But what I want to do is place this guy at the back. That means the tapir will copy it, and then the amalgamations will give it mana. And although we've exhausted the triggers, the second amalgamation will actually have its triggers reset by the sea dragon. And immediately you can see what Namazu's ability is, and that is to convert mana into trumpets. So we don't actually need this Namazu at the back to have any levels at all, because the tapir provides the levels. And actually it's not possible for the unit at the back to generate any trumpets, because the retriever will be summoned before it goes, and all of the trumpets will be consumed. So here I take the popcorn. That's going to give us a second summon and maximize the value that we get from the 2 amalgamations. And the sea dragon is now making one of the amalgamations level 3. So 16 mana here becomes 38 trumpets, which is incredible value. The exchange rate is ridiculously in favor of generating trumpets here. And I think that's only with a level 2 Namazu. So when the tapir gets to level 3, if we can find another chocolate, we're going to generate 50 trumpets. And it's really surprising how this team can just absolutely cut through some of these scaling squads. Now granted, this particular lioness team maybe hadn't quite got off the ground. They would probably be quite dangerous next turn. But we're now on 9 wins, turn 14. We feel pretty confident as long as Namazu doesn't get sniped before the tapir activates, in which case we would get a copy of Amalgamation instead. But it gives us this, which is a full food-based stat team, the perfect opponent. And we get 50 trumpets and a 20 damage mana snipe as well. It's actually relatively close, but we are going to win with Namazu as the sole survivor. So I thought this was a really fun take on, I guess it's kind of like a 4-squad, although the sea dragon is on your team, it disappears at the start of battle, so clearly it's designed for the 4-squad archetype. And it's nice to have more options there instead of just buy, sell, stat spam. So I wanted to show this particular clip as well. This is a very similar run where I don't have the sea dragon, but I did get the tapir to level 3, and then I made a huge mistake there where I skipped the Campeto because there were no stat foods, but I should have taken the popcorn, because I thought the tapir needed the gingerbread here, but actually I had already reached level 3, so we could have had a second summon here, which would have resulted in a pretty powerful mana snipe, and luckily we win anyway. I think this particular game, almost every single opponent is a rabbit team. And I don't think here either I managed to correct the mistake of not taking the popcorn. I guess I'm just rolling for the amalgamation level up here. I think we're already getting 50 trumpets, but I guess maybe it helps in the situation where one of the amalgamations gets sniped at the start of battle. But I thought this was pretty funny. This triple Wolverine team reduces all my stats down to 3 or less, and everything gets wiped by the hedgehogs. You don't really see very many Wolverine teams out there, and they're using the oyster mushroom to create an additional Wolverine while duplicating the original's ability with a tiger. Yeah, kind of an awkward unit, Wolverine, but there are times when it can be very powerful. Yeah, I'm freezing the amalgamation. There's not really any benefit from it at this stage. Double Sea Dragon, although it's too late for that as well. So I think I'm just rolling down for equipment and we don't find anything. Maybe I was relying on cornucopia to get the popcorn. But then we end up facing this squad. So it's the Revenge of the Rabbit food team. And actually, if this rabbit has one less attack, we win. But of course they were on 50-50 because it was turn 18. So yeah, that was the closest run before I managed to get the win. We've got a couple of extra clips here. I found this really funny. You see a lot of these sauropod stack teams with Bird of Paradise, and we have the 30 attack dog coming in, and it gets us the 1 HP win. And then this one I thought was funny. It's very early on, but we buy this deer, and then the opposing hippo had radish, and it turns into potato, which blocks the chili and results in me losing this battle. RevGT had a great video the other day using the randomness of radish, so I will link that in the description if you want to see more of that kind of RNG.